We're here at Moral Companies this morning, and we're sitting here with Nathan Smith, who's a local farmer, and he's the farmer that's going to be preparing and planting and harvesting the field that we're going to be following throughout the course of this season here. We've also got with us Brandon, and he's an employee here at the co-op, and we're going to get into what he does in just a little bit. But first, Nathan, when we walked in, you said that you're about 30 years old, and you've been taking care of this plot out here about as far back as you can remember. It was one of the first pieces that you rented when you were around 15 years old, so you're pretty familiar with this piece of ground here that we're going to be following throughout the year, aren't you?
Yeah, we've been doing it for a while. Even my father and grandfather farmed it before that. And then when I became involved in VOAG at school, it was the first piece of ground that they allowed me to get my feet wet in. So
Good. Well, on this plot out here this year, we're going to have 5 acres of soybeans and 5 acres of corn. Now, Nathan, when you were going through the process of figuring out what you were going to plant, I'm sure you came in and talked with Brandon here, and you guys started developing a plan. How did you guys decide what type of seed you were going to plant and how you were going to attack this project for the year?
Well, after harvest last year, and we got things winded down, we came up here and we yield map everything with GPS and everything, and we sat down and went over all the different yields for each farm's, the crop, separated them out by the crop. We looked at we had a test plot out here last year for corn, so we looked at that. So, it's based on kind of the year before, but, we like to change it up and try some new numbers, different varieties and stuff like that. Normally we try to keep some of what we had last year, the better numbers, but, there's always something better and out there, so we like to try something new. So.
Okay, and how did Brandon assist you in coming up with those types of new products?
Well, he's going to things throughout the year, and he's talking to, Pioneer, and, he's gathering information from them, and so he's in turn, passing it on to me, and, we use the technology that we have today to access, and use that for different fields and know, what variety is better than one. So, there's all kinds of inputs we use on it.
And Nathan has a diverse operation. He also has livestock here in this county. Nathan, as we look at the fields out here that you're going to plant, that livestock also has a great byproduct in manure for plant nutrients. Are you guys going to apply any livestock manure to the fields that we're looking at here for our project?
We're not at this particular plot, or we don't really use it as a test plot, but we use it throughout throughout our own fields elsewhere.
Okay. So when we're looking at the overall nutrient management of this piece, livestock manure isn't going to be a component of what we're doing here, because these particular fields don't necessarily need that, as well as he'll be able to apply that in other areas. Now, Brandon, what is it that you do here for Moral Companies?
My role here at Moral Companies is to assist all the local farmers with making the right decisions. We take the information they want as far as what crop they want. The land is theirs, so what they want to do with it is the important thing, and we make all the things come together, I guess, to make the finished product as good as we can make it. And that involves fertilizer, seed selection, micronutrients, all the things that we can do that the crop calls for. And you were talking about the manure out in this test plot that we're not going to use. A good reason for that is we use maps like this. These are grid sample recommendations that we get back, so we will actually map that field every 2.5 acres, and it'll give us a more concentrated breakdown on the nutrients that we need. And you can see this one's red, which basically means no recommendation for fertilizer. So applying nutrients to that would be basically a waste and uneconomical. So there's no sense in doing it. So that's how we make those decisions.
So when we look at those maps, it helps the farmer to be very environmentally friendly. It keeps us from over-applying nutrients
Absolutely.
and therefore saving our farmers money on input costs into these products to help them be more profitable.
Yeah.
Farmers are some of the most environmental folks that we deal with day in and day out. They don't want to over-apply nutrients because it costs them money and it's not good for the environment. We don't want to oversaturate our ground with excess nutrients that the plants can't use. So Brandon helps those farmers do exactly that. Now, Brandon, how do you guys come up with those particular maps that you're looking at?
These recommendations here, in the fall we'll have a guy go out and grid sample these fields, which takes quite a while, and then we will send the recommendations off to a lab to be analyzed, and we will get the recommendations back. At that point in time, we can sit down and ask Nathan exactly what it is he's doing, and we can actually change these recommendations per crop. So we're not stuck to one plan. If he says, I'd rather go to corn with this farm than soybeans, at just a couple entries on the computer, we can get a new recommendation back as to what nutrients need to be applied. And therefore, it's all about the plant only using so many nutrients, and anything over that is just an overabundance, what needs to be done.
Very good. So technology plays a huge part in what not only our farmers do, but the folks that assist them. Thank you for tuning in, and join us again to help follow farming. Thank you.